incredible, four powerful women who are all part of the Haiti program. They'll share a bit more about their work, but I've got Carlton Nakamnya, who's from Uganda. I've got Ida Nihindi, who's from Tanzania. I've got Prudence Baura from Zimbabwe and Vimbai Bakali from Malawi. I mean, we could have picked any of the 24 women. I mean, it was almost named, but we for this particular one, we are working with these four. So shortly, they're all going to come on camera, and I'm going to have, spend maximum 25 minutes just doing a quick, fireside chat so that you can all get to understand the brilliance about these four women. So let's put our hands together as they kind of come, and I'm sure the team is going to pin them. So welcome. Yeah. Awesome. Right. Awesome. Great. So I'm going to start with you, Prudence. So I'm going to ask each of these four the same questions. I'll start with you, Prudence. Could you please share with me a bit more? What was the inspiration? Just introduce yourself and the name of your organization, and tell us what was the inspiration behind you starting Mukadzi Munuo. You're on mute, Prudence.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm Prudence Mbaura. I'm from Zimbabwe. I founded Mukadzi Munuo. You said the reason why I started Mukadzi Munuo, right?
Yes. Tell us your name and your organization and what made you, what was the reason behind you wanting to start? Tell us a bit more so that the audience will hear. And I'll ask the same question to the other the other ladies as well.
Okay, thank you. Hello, I'm Prudence Mbaura and I'm from Zimbabwe. The reason why I started Mukadzi Munuo was deeply personal experience. Growing up, I witnessed my mother suffer in silence as a victim of gender-based violence. With 7 children depending on her, she felt trapped, powerless. She wasn't able to escape from that abuse. Our family lived in poverty, and a lack of empowerment, knowledge about available resources aided this situation. I still remember when I was 12 years old, I mustered the courage to stand up for my stepfather, telling him, enough is enough. I don't want what you are doing to my mother. I hate it. I raised the TV's volume, banged the door, and went out. I refused to watch my mother suffer anymore. From that time, my mother started to stand up for herself. Because of these challenges I faced, I knew that I have to take action. I was just 17 years when I founded Mukadzi Munuo in 2019. I founded Mukadzi Munuo on her birthday because I was driven by burning passion to empower women and girls, to ensure that no one suffers in silence, provide support to those affected by gender-based violence. My mother's story remains in my heart. That is where I come out the name Mukadzi Munuo, meaning a woman is also a human being. My mother was also a human being. She was not supposed to be abused. She was supposed to be empowered. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prudence, for kicking us off. What a powerful reason why. I think once I've heard from everyone, I'm going to come back to you and tell us so that you can tell us a bit more. Maybe let me stay with you for a minute. So tell us a bit more about, so what is it that, Mukadzi Munuo is doing to really address all those issues you have spoken about?
Okay, so at Mukadzi Munuo, as our name declares, a woman is also a human being. We are a non-profit organization dedicated to transforming the lives of women and girls. Our mission is to empower women, reduce poverty, eliminate gender-based violence, and promote gender equality. Our main focus areas is poverty reduction. We provide economic empowerment programs, skills training and access to resources. We help women to break the cycle of poverty and secure a brighter future. under poverty reduction, we are training women how to use our natural resources. We teach them how to make spaghetti using cassava and sweet potatoes. Also, women's empowerment. We foster leadership development, self-determination, and social support, enabling women to assert their rights and make informed choices. We are also offering gender-based violence prevention. So we are offering community outreach programs, education and awareness campaigns to prevent gender-based violence. We are also supporting victims of gender-based violence by counseling and psychosocial support, medical and legal assistance, safe shelter and referral services, advocates for justice and human rights. Under gender equality, we are challenging discriminatory practices, promote equal opportunities, and advocate for women's rights. We are striving for a world where women and men have equal status and opportunities. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. I'm sure all of you listening here can agree that Prudence' story is powerful. I personally was able to visit Prudence in the community where she practices, and I know her work has impacted over 3,000 women. And for your own information, Prudence just turned 22 years, and she's been running this organization for 8 years. And this was born from this whole idea that if my mother could have, stayed in this home because she realized she didn't do anything. So everything that she does now, based on what she's saying, is basically saying enough is enough. I cannot let any other woman suffer because they feel like they've got no option. Which I think beautifully takes us. I'll come back to you again, Prudence, but I'll now go to Vimbai. Vimbai, can you please briefly introduce yourself and the name of your organization, and tell us a bit more about why you started your organization, Single Women Empowerment?
Hello, everyone. My name is Vongai Awali Bakali. I'm from Malawi. The founder of Single Mother Empowerment Organization. I founded this organization 2 years ago. I inspired myself to start this organization through my own story as a single mother. I got pregnant at the age of 24, and at that age, I was born in a family that was well-to-do. I was born in Malawi, but I was raised in Zimbabwe. So I went to good schools. My dad provided everything for us. But then my dad lost it along the way. So when we came back to Malawi, we literally had nothing at all. So I ended up engaging myself in a relationship with a guy because I thought that he would support me. Since he was well-to-do, and I really wanted the good stuff in life. So upon getting pregnant, he abandoned me and he asked me to abort the child. So I kept the baby because I was not ready to abort. And then after I got pregnant, I stayed almost 2 years in my parents' house. I was not able to interact with other people, or I was not open to other opportunities within my community because of the stigma and negative perceptions that our communities here in Malawi have when it comes to a single mother or a young mothers. They usually look at you as a woman with loose morals. So because of that, it played as a hindrance to the woman that I am, or even absolutely releasing that strength that's within me as a woman. So because of that, yes, I started Single Mother Empowerment Organization.
Well, thank you so much. I know there's a part of your story that I've heard you say before. Could you tell us a bit more about what was really going on for you, as a single mother, based on the stigmatization and what it did to you and the point that it took you to?
Okay, so as I said that because of the stigma that's attached to young mothers and single mothers in Malawi, the time I got pregnant, because I had no one to talk to and I was a bit shy to tell the whole world that, I have a child without a father, I felt suicidal at some point of time. I really wanted to take my life. When I looked at all these other young girls pursuing their dreams. And then like my life really seemed as if it was totally shut because I had a child when I was just completed my internship, so I had no source of income whatsoever. So life was really hard for me, and I thought maybe my end had just come, and I just wanted to end all of it. So when I looked into that now after 2 years, when I said enough is enough to myself, and I looked at the gap that was there, as much as we talk about gender equality, there's this gap where single mothers and young mothers here in Malawi, they are not really considered in most of the programs because they feel as if being a young mother, a single mother, means you have loose morals and you deserve to go through whatever you're going through. But they don't realize that single motherhood is attached to so many drivers. That's divorce, abandonment that's caused by irresponsible men. Like in my case, transactional sex, whereby as a young woman like me, we lost everything. My dad lost, and I was used to the good things in life. So I decided maybe if I get a rich man who is able to support me, I will be a complete woman, which was totally the opposite of that. Because now when I look at myself, I have a child who's almost 7 years old now. I'm standing by myself. And so because of that, I looked at the next woman, especially in Malawi's rural communities, where we have single mothers that have no source of income, that have no educational background. The cycle of poverty continues, and you have that if you actually give birth to a girl child when you're a single mother in the rural areas, the same girl child will also become a single mother because of the same transactional sex that I'm talking about. I think I'll focus more on the transactional sex because I have been through it myself. So I think
I think what I love first of all is the brevity in which you're sharing this, because I think your story is powerful, and I see so many comments in the chat around other people saying we can identify, we know this. So thank you so much for that. So how has all these issues led you to launch, single mother empowerment? Could you share us a bit more about what are some of those things you're doing to address all those pain points you're talking about around feeling suicidal because you felt you had no options, also feeling that, you're an embarrassment because of the stigma that the society put on you, and feeling like, resources you can't fend for yourself. What has that led you, and what are some of your priorities in your organization that addresses those things?
All right. Some of our priorities are when you talk about the issue of young mothers, expectant, pregnant, adolescent girls, we do offer counseling to these. Once you find yourself in that situation, we do actually counsel them, and then we are there for that person the whole process from the time that they're pregnant. And then sometimes we are also able to reach out to the guardians, to the parents, because for me, in order for my parents to actually accept me in, because I think my parents were the only people that actually stood by me, I had to go through a pastor, because my dad had always told me that if you ever get pregnant, I'm going to kill you. So like there was no way I could go personally and tell my dad that I'm pregnant and my child does not have a father. So I had to reach out to someone else who ended up talking to my father. So there are a lot of suicidal cases in Malawi of pregnant, of expectant young mothers. You find that somebody gets pregnant and they get abandoned. And the next thing is they just feel like, let me take my life because there's no one to listen to me. The whole world is going to laugh at me, because as soon as you get pregnant, you see all over social media, it's there, people are talking about you, and single motherhood is treated like an incurable disease. Like when you're a young mother and you're pregnant, it's like you can never make it in life. It's like your life is totally, literally done, and there is nothing that you can do. So we offer that psychosocial aid to expecting mothers. And then we've also reached out to around 325 women in rural communities, whereby we've created support groups where they actually stand in for each other, single mothers. They support each other. And currently we're working on establishing a way where we can actually engage them in different income generating activities. As single mothers, we want them to be able to stand by themselves. And we've also created platforms that actually allows these young mothers to voice out and accept their statuses. And because I think it starts from within. When you accept that I'm a single mother, the negative stereotypes will not hinder you from achieving what you want in life or from getting to where you want to be in life. Because when I started sharing I used to hide my child, but when I started sharing my story, I became more confident about my status, and no one can judge me because of that. Because now when I accept it, I started chasing my dreams.
Well done. No, thank you so much, Mbai. Again, I think the message I'm hearing from you is that, you know what, there's no shame. Do not dim your light because of other people's perception of you. I'm also hearing from you that, you know what, you are putting in support because it feels like you have turned your lemons into lemonade, because you like from the work you're doing, you almost moved back around. What do I wish I would have had from the support from the community, from the information around what's possible? So thank you so much. I will come back to you around my next question, but for now, I'll go to Carlton. Carlton, I know you've set up your organization called Her Story in Uganda. So same question that I've asked your colleagues. Could you tell us a bit more about the idea behind setting up like your organization, Carlton?
Thank you, Vongai. I don't know if I am loud and clear.
Yes.
Okay. My name is Carlton Kobiamakanya. I'm a journalist. I'm the founder of Her Story.
So, Carlton, before you continue, are you in a place where you can work without your headphones, or you feel like you have to do it? Because sometimes, are you in a public space?
Yeah, it's a public space.
All right, maybe continue. You can continue.
Okay. It comes from a personal experience for me to start Her Story. At the age of 12, I decided to become a journalist following injustices perpetrated by my own father. My father denied me everything and said, "Brother, throw the money into a tree." He said this to my face when I asked him for school fees. So it was so heavy for me to take in, but I understood the wider context of what a girl child has to deal with to become somebody in society. So I decided I was going to take up journalism as my profession to highlight these issues and speak about the injustices in society and become a voice for the people who are marginalized and denied a chance like me. And when I became a journalist, it is when that I noticed the gaps in how stories are told about women and girls, the different stereotypes, rendering women invisible in their own spaces, and all comes to a point of representation. So when I started Her Story, the goal was increase visibility, because I believe it can lead to understanding of gender issues within communities and institutions, and also foster a more respectful society for women and girls. So that is the background behind Her Story.
No, thank you so much, Carlton. And I'm sure, hopefully, for those that might have heard, because I think you're breaking in and out, I think just to recap what Carlton was saying, it's about for her when she was 12, because of the experiences she had as a young girl growing up, she realized, I think one of the things, when I've heard her talk about this before, she talked a lot about, for her, she decided that she was going to be a voice of the voiceless, and she was going to be that voice that would stand for women and young girls who were in communities where they were voiceless. And I think there's one particular story you have shared that I think for her there was one time when a journalist, a fellow woman, was kind of abused. Young girl was abused. But when the issue is gone to the journalist, it was reported either she's naughty, loose morals, or focus on the mother. So because of that, so tell us, so what are, you have mentioned two are kind of priority areas. So what is the focus area of your organization that, that you're doing to address some of the issues you have identified? You're on mute now.
Okay. Our major focus area is on championing, representing women and girls in a fair and balanced way, because representation doesn't exist in a vacuum. The way images, texts, videos, and everything is portrayed has a meaning. And that meaning and interpretation depends on the surrounding factors. So we are working towards mentoring and training female journalists because of, like what I've said, representation doesn't exist in a vacuum. So the person behind the crafting of every image, every text, every video matters a lot. We believe stories about women and girls will be better told by female journalists, even when we need men in such spaces. But yeah, we have to first bridge this gap. So besides mentorship and trainings, we also do real journalism by focusing on non-conventional and underreported stories about women and girls, the different injustices in society. If you go on our website or our YouTube channel, you'll see amazing pieces there. We create a safe space for women to tell their stories without feeling judged or any kind of bias. We also don't limit to that. We do advocacy by the kind of stories we do are after seeing change. How do we get change? We can only get change if we involve ourselves directly into advocacy. If we talk about a problem, we've done a story about, for example, maternal health in a given area. What else can we do to ensure that that mother doesn't die while giving birth? What do we do? We've reported a story about a school that doesn't have safe water. Safe water means a lot for a girl who goes to school. We've reported about girls that don't have sanitary pads and they're missing classes because of that. What else can we do about that? It goes beyond storytelling to go into advocacy to ensure there is impact that is direct.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Gosh, that's powerful. And I love how holistic it is, because other people end up with storytelling, but for you, you are saying, no, how do we almost address some of the problems that we've identified? But thank you so much. And it's so powerful how you're thinking about how do we shift the narrative and also representation. Thank you so much. So for this round, last but not least, I'm going to ask Ida from Tanzania. Ida, could you come and introduce yourself, the name of your organization, and share us a bit more about what led you to starting your organization?
Thank you so much, Doctor. My name is Dr. Ida Mihindi. I am a medical doctor by background, and I am a founder of FHT, which is a social enterprise women-led company, which design and manufacture eco-friendly reusable sanitary pads called the Fursa pads. Growing up in a northern part of Tanzania, where there is not only no access to menstrual products, but there is no access to information about sexual reproductive health, menstrual hygiene in general. Like, you cannot ask anyone. There is a space between us and our family members. I remember my first period, I was in school, I don't have anything to use, and I don't know where to get a pad. And so I started to use rag clothes. So I was not able to ask anyone, but I noticed most of my fellows, they don't have full attendance to school, and the problem was pads. So since I was studying in rural areas, I couldn't make any effort, because there you just work hard to study. But joining a university, pursuing my medical career, is the time I chip in this sector. Then I noticed in Tanzania, the women age of 15 to 49 years old, 60% they totally no access to menstrual products. So what are these groups of women are using? These are using animal products, they're using rag clothes. Others are offering sex so that they can get money for pads. So we have a lot of young mothers quitting a school because we have a curriculum that if you get a pregnancy, you can't continue with education. So these are the young mothers with street kids in the streets. So 50% of school girls, they don't attend school fully, like they're missing 3 to 5 days each month. So there is a huge gap. So I started to empower this group of young women who are out of formal schools. They don't have formal certificate to be employed, but they can get a skill to use sewing machines, to design, to cut. So we empower them in our factory, and they are the ones manufacturing a part up to the stage to be distributed in schools. So we have a foundation where we partner with companies, NGOs, and we are distributing for free to rural school girls since they cannot afford even the reusable parts. So we are making an effort to partner with public sectors so they can brand themselves while helping girls. And up to date, we have distributed more than 20,000 freely to rural school girls and women from low-income countries in Tanzania. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Ida. I just loved how your work centers around how do we put dignity back to the women that experience all these things. And again, when I've heard you talk about your work and sharing your experience, I remember you shared once that for you as a young girl, because you did not have access to pads, you ended up using clothes. And I think there's one particular incident where you actually saw like it affected your self-esteem because you thought this cloth can drop anytime and then people. I just loved how you also, your work that you are doing is really bringing back dignity back to the women. So maybe perhaps because of time, I'm going to ask the four of you very briefly, like I'm going to ask you two questions that I will ask you to respond in 2 minutes or less, so 1 minute or so per question. So I'll start with you, Ida. So you've led such an incredible organization. You're an impressive medical doctor by training. So what are some of the challenges that, or leadership organizational challenges that you have experienced trying to do this work? And then what excites you about being part of this fellowship?
Okay, thank you so much. The main challenge, I started with an imposter syndrome. Yes, I was in a medical career, then mixed up with the career of working, also a business part. So I started to feel uncomfortable even in making decisions. It reached a stage as like, and I'm doing these are the right decisions. You see, you are a young leader. You are learning while practicing. So you are learning in a journey. Like you don't have an experience. So that's a main big challenge. But through keeping learning, I've been able to join different platforms for learning. That is the only stage that I'm able to make a progress. So I'm so happy to join this program to learn new skills, new leadership forms, to learn from mentors. As today, we have been able to see that many people with more than 20 years of experience. So you can learn new skills and from different parts, not only in Tanzania, outside of Africa. So that's the platform to learn new skills, but to relearn the things that I might know, but not that much, and unlearn the things that I think it was the right things. And the best thing is to network and to create a connection with different African change makers. And I'm so happy to be one among these cohorts.
Thank you so much. And we're also happy to have you. I think one thing that you shared around imposter syndrome, it's something that many of us, even at this stage, we still experience. But I love the fact that regardless of that, you're doing awesome work. So thank you so much, Ida. And also, I'm sure as much as you think you learn from others, I'm sure the cohort will learn from you as well. Thank you. I'll come over to you, Carlton, now. So same question I've asked Ida, like what are some of the challenges you've experienced in your organization as your story, either organizational or leadership challenges, and what excites you about being part of ACE?
I'll begin with the last question of what excites me to be part of this. I'll give you a quote from Beatrice Webb that said, "Reforms will not be brought about by shouting. What is needed is hard thinking." Connecting with people for example, all the stories I've had, people who are devoted to having their communities change is really what motivated me to connect with all these people and see how we can collaborate and bring about change in the different audiences that we serve and the communities and that we all belong to. So now back to the first question, the challenges I am facing. My first challenge was identifying the people I'm going to work with. It's really, sometimes it's hard to connect with people who have the same vision as you. It's really hard to see people who can put in the energy that you put in, and commit to the work and see that you see in the same direction, you use the same lens. So identifying the team is quite a big challenge. The second one is lack of access to resources. I know that probably everybody, I want to assume, like everybody knows how challenging the media landscape is getting to, and where resources are limited, advertisements can no longer sustain media companies, even those that are well established. So having resources to sustain a company, a not-for-profit newsroom like ours, is really a big task. And so the other challenge that is minor, but yeah, it matters, is the society narratives and perceptions, where people want to throw you down the pit by their narratives and questions why you are so passionate about gender issues. Yes, not everybody will understand why you have to resolve these issues. Some of them are really interested in seeing the status quo maintained. So yes, it's a challenge, but yeah, it matters, but doesn't matter a lot.
It does matter. So thank you so much, Carlton. I loved your one. I think you talked about the issue of building a high-performing team. You talked the issue of the narratives that sometimes come from the community, and you talked about resources, which I'm sure most of us on this call will agree. Thank you so much for that. Coming to you, Prudence, same question about, very briefly, like what are some of the challenges you have experienced in running Mukadzi Munwo, and what excites you about being a HAC fellow?
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. It's raining here, so I won't be able to turn on my video so that you be hear me properly.
No problem.
So as we strive to make a difference from Mukadzi Munwo, we are facing challenges. The first challenge we are facing is financial constraints. Are you hearing me?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, thank you. So securing funding remains our biggest obstacle. Without sufficient resources, we are not able to reach many women and girls who would like. We rely heavily on volunteers. So for me to build a strong, dedicated team, I'm failing because sometimes they want money, overwhelming and frustration. The inability to help those in need weighs heavily on me. It's heartbreaking and depressing to turn away women and girls who desperately requires our support. Another challenge I'm facing is cultural misconceptions and age-related biases. Also, some people question my effectiveness due to my youth. They suggest that I'm still young, I'm lacking experience and authority to address some of the complexes, especially gender-based violence. So they are saying, why are you doing that? You're still young, you don't have to do it. Then some people misunderstand our mission and objectives. For instance, there was a man who said to me, why are you hosting those sugar daddies campaigns? Those girls you want to host those sugar daddies campaigns, they know what they are doing. You don't have to host sugar daddies campaigns. However, the feedback from the universities reviewed a different story. The girls were empowered, they're now thriving. We taught them how to make perfume so that they'll be able to sell and they feel that they won't be able to go to their sugar daddies. I'm excited to join HIS because I'm now connected with the community of like-minded individuals and organizations, sharing experiences, the training, skills development, especially in social media management. Thanks to Vongai, they've already enhanced my capabilities. I'm eager to leverage this platform to amplify Mkadzimunyo's impact.
Thank you.
So that we'll be able to reach more women and girls. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Vongai. I think you highlight a couple of important things from, of course, resources. It will always be everyone's kind of issue, but all the other issues around people almost questioning your intentions, etc. But thank you for that. And we're excited to having you as well on the program. Last but not least, Vongai, could you share a bit more, like what are some of the challenges you've experienced leading single women empowerment, and what excites you about being a HACI fellow?
Thank you, Dr. Vongai. We've faced quite a number of challenges. I think, of course, when I established first the organization, the issue was people actually trying to.
Oh, Vongai, I think we can't hear your volume now.
My volume?
Yeah, now we
can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Yes. So I was saying that when I was establishing Single Mother Empowerment Organization, the issue was people not understanding what exactly I was trying to do. So one of the questions that I used to receive was, are you trying to promote early and unintended pregnancies? Because obviously now that you are coming in to empower and support single mothers, it almost seems as if you're actually saying it's okay to go out there and sleep around and, have babies and you don't have to worry about it. But then that wasn't the issue. As I explained before, that there are some circumstances and situations that actually contribute to single motherhood. And I saw a gap. I saw a gap that needed someone to come in. If we're going to talk about trying to build a woman. So I was like, there is a gap because most of the organizations that are in Malawi and that are dealing with similar issues, no one really sees it as a problem or as something that actually requires a solution. So, and also another thing that we've been facing, another problem we've been facing, another challenge is the issue of funding. It's really put us back because basically ever since for the last 2 years, the organization has been self-funded by me, by the leader that I get, because I'm very passionate about my work. I absolutely love it. I love it when I go out there and then I listen to stories from other single mothers. There's a whole lot that you learn from it. So that really excites me. And God has really been the provider of it all. So what I'm looking forward to in this program is getting to know like-minded women and also just developing my leadership skills from my mentors, including you, Dr. Vongai. I'm so inspired by your work, I should say. So you being named one of the most influential women in Africa, I somewhere there one day. And obviously, if you are coaching me, I believe that I'm going to impact mostly the same way you do. And then I'm also looking forward to growing my confidence as a person, because sometimes I really have brilliant ideas, but bringing them out there, it's a bit of a hassle for me. So this is also because of the stigma that I went through, and I am more of like an introverted person. I don't really have so many friends, and it started when I had my child because I lost friends mostly, and the only people that I had were my parents. So it's also something that I'm willing to work on through this program.
Fantastic. No, thank you so much, Vimbai. Can you please put our hands together to Vimbai, Carlton, Ida, and Prudence for such powerful sharing of the stories. So as you can hear, for me, I've got goosebumps. When each person was speaking, it was so inspiring how, I think for me, when I was like at your ages, there was no way I would have started an organization because of all the limitations and the fears that can come up. But kudos to you all, across all different ages, below 35, for the amazing work that you're doing. And we sincerely hope that you will continue to inspire us and others beyond, and then you continue to receive what you need and also give what you can give to others on the program. I could go on and on just listening to you all because of the inspiring work that you guys have done. I saw some of our board members commenting here. I'm sure you have inspired them, and I know I can see Margaret and others here. They were commenting around inspiring, powerful. Margaret works for Ford Foundation, and I'm sure she'll probably use this opportunity to kind of keep talking about what you guys are doing. So I will hand back this time to the MC, but please, everybody, help me all. Congratulate once again Prudence, Carlton, Vimbai, and Ida there. These are only 4 out of the 20. If you hear stories from the other 20, they are inspiring. So over the next couple of months, we'll be making spaces. Next time it will be another set of 4. Next time another set of 4, so that we can all hear inspiring stories from these incredible human beings. Well done, guys. And back to you, MC. Thank you. Well done, guys.
Thank you, Dr. Vongai. That was absolutely phenomenal.